Welcome back to Burn Notice, a series that analyzes the actions of Michael Weston and his team. If you're new to the series, there's a link to the first episode that will be down in the description. When we last left Michael, he was spooked about the fact someone other than the FBI was watching him, and he is looking to get to the bottom of it, and the only one who can help is his mother, when we figure out where Michael learned his powers of deception. Maddie stalls out long enough for Michael to find a listening device and figures out, due to the range of it and help from his mom, where the operatives were. He runs to the house, alerting them of his presence, and they torch their equipment and speed off, leaving Michael and us asking questions once Michael gets back to his mom's house. Maddie is withholding information to force Michael to help her friend, Laura, to get money scammed from her back. And unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot of information about what they look like, but the certificate had to be made in only a few different places when Mike enlists Sam's help for letting Sam stay at the loft for a small amount of time. Next, we see Fiona stretched out in Michael's bed. She stopped using an Irish accent, which she used in the first episode, but only comes back very rarely in a few episodes in the future. And we also find out why in the last episode Sam and Fee didn't meet up, due to a gun cell soiled by Sam, giving us backstory that makes the team seem to have a longer history and is also an organic way for character development. This is when Fee tags along to help Mike and Sam by going to print shops in town to smoke out some of the lower members of the Scoundrels team, which works, and Mike follows him to find Quentin and his partners Greg and Bonnie. Thankfully, Sam did some snooping, figuring out where the leader hangs out, and develops a cover ID for Michael, the first of many in the series. This one is an ex-con who shared a cell with someone Quentin shared with, giving him a potential trusted mutual friend. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, so Michael uses Quentin's gun to hold him up when Michael shoots the tires of a police car and runs off, proving he isn't an undercover agent. After the initial meeting, Mike goes straight to work making listening devices, and during their second meeting, Sam and Fee rig Quentin's car to shut off after a single phone call and plant listening devices on the con man's boat. During the meeting, Michael gives Quentin his gun back as a sign of good faith and proposes a different scam. However, Quentin isn't jumping on it, but Greg seems extremely interested, and after showing that, Quentin forces Greg and Bonnie back to the boat where Sam and Fee are still bugging and getting as much information as possible on the villain's team, and Mike tries to warn them to get out, but Fee doesn't have her phone on her and have to get creative. When Fee spots Greg and Bonnie, that's when Sam and Fee create a cover story, giving them, one, a reason to be there, and two, a reason to leave quickly, by saying Sam lied about this boat being his, and Fee getting irate about him lying, showing ingenuity and quick thinking. Next, Michael, Sam, and Fiona debrief and attempt a plan that makes Quentin's trust in Greg and Bonnie break down, just enough to make Mike a tangible option. Also, Mike asks Fee to a dinner at his mom's house to try to get more information on the guys who were spying on him, and luckily Fee agrees. Then Mike goes to the nightclub again to meet with Quentin, and we get the next half point on Michael's death count. Only a half, because he had a 50-50 shot on the question. Sam is working on the paperwork to push Quentin over the edge, while Mike is at dinner with Fee. We get a short glimpse of the client, who asks uncomfortable questions to Fee, and she plays it off cool, but Maddie also gives her the third degree, and Michael gains some info on the men spying. However, Maddie lied to the men, guilt-tripping Mike. Unfortunately, Quentin finds the paperwork a touch too soon and gets into a murderous mood, with Michael even being able to hear his gun being racked over the phone.
You've been in the business way too long when you recognize the sound of a .45 caliber over a phone.
Sam goes to the marina to keep tabs on Quentin, and Fee didn't quite disable the car. She turned it into...
That's what happens when you wire a cell phone to a blasting cap in the gas tank instead of the electrical system.
Son of a bitch!
and explosive, scaring Quentin into hiding, assuming Greg and Bonnie, or Michael, were trying to kill him. Also part of Sam's agreement was to keep the FBI at bay if he could stay with him. But due to the explosions at the marina, the feds are back on Michael's tail. And this was all due to the fact that Sam didn't completely understand the minutia of the travel he booked. And Greg and Bonnie received a bottle of champagne that forced Quentin to look around, and he found all of the evidence that was supposed to be trickled out to Quentin. That leaves Michael with only one move: to go back to the nightclub to try to find Quentin's number. And luckily, the ladies of the nightclub provide him the number, and they set a meet where Michael convinced Quentin to hire a hitman to kill his partners. That's when Fee and Sam use police badges to scare Greg and Bonnie to ditch Miami. Then Michael uses his FBI tail to terrify Quentin into giving him his bank information. And Mike not only gets the money back, but also gets Quentin arrested for making calls to different organizations. And with the day being saved, Mike originally asks for $500, but his mom side-eyes him for only $3. That's when Maddie reveals a number to Michael, and after a short conversation, we only learn a little bit more than we had known previously. This episode ends on a cliffhanger, which is something you want in a spy thriller, but all in all, this episode was an interesting way to further the mystery of the burn notice and highlight Fee and Sam's skills, and also how easily Michael can become someone completely different. Thank you for watching, and there is a link to the playlist for this series and also my other series, Inside Criminal Minds, in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.